number one, we're super excited about the group of partners that we work with, and a lot of the initiatives that we've kind of endeavored to kind of pursue over the last year have been related to, things that we're doing with AWS, particularly around live cloud production. There's there's plans for a half a dozen live cloud produced broadcasts this year. There's plans for probably a half a dozen additional altcasts to happen as well, of various flavors. I think certainly the NFL recently did their Simpsons altcast, which is really interesting. We've done quite a few of those actually recently. We've seen a lot of interest from teams and individual rights holders for what we're doing with cloud production. We were excited that this season is the first time one of our RSNs is doing full channel decoration, full play out of the cloud. So I think there's an incredible amount of innovative things happening in the broadcast world, and I just feel like after all of these years, I feel like the leagues are all innovating in kind of unique ways that reflect kind of what the important things about covering the narrative of their games is, right? Because all of our sports are very different from a narrative perspective, and so being able to really go and dive into producing Edge IQ stats with AWS and getting these advanced analytics that we can make available in the extremely short periods of narrative that happen in between plays on the ice, to be able to really start engaging fans that haven't seen the game the way that we see it. And I think that one thing that's happened over the last year is that we've never been pushing more feeds out of an arena on a night in, night out basis. It's at this point, you kind of need a spreadsheet just to keep track of all of the different renditions of your game broadcasts. Generally speaking, Saturday and Sunday games are going out in 7 different versions with different augmented ad playlists on the dasher boards for domestic audiences, for international audiences. And I think, one thing that's definitely true across everyone on this stage is that we're all really leaning in and realizing that there's a lot of people in the world that we haven't kind of sucked into the narrative of our sports, and there's a lot of opportunity to go and innovate in new ways to give them our content and make them understand it. So I think that there are a lot of super exciting things. Certainly, the NFL was pioneered a lot of the private wireless in the venues. We're kind of chasing their tail on that one a little bit. We've got private wireless in a number of our buildings with Verizon. Verizon's a great partner of ours as well, as is AWS. I think we're on the archive side. We're super excited with our recently announced partnership with Vast Data, and the ability to start pushing some of the things that we're working on with AWS in terms of machine learning and AI down onto that storage platform, so that now I'm able to go and consume game assets through the entire history of the NHL on one data engine, and use that engine to actually mine them for insights on a consistent basis without paying a toll to do so, right? Yeah. And so really being able to kind of bring Vast Data into our infrastructure, and we've put Vast Data hardware in all of our venues. So I now have an amount of storage at each venue that I've never really even imagined having. And that's just opened the door to even more kind of innovative things down the road. I think, certainly we're playing around with 8K. We're playing around with, continuing to innovate on the cloud broadcast front. I think, we think that, going forward, we're going to be doing dozens and dozens of altcasts on a continuing basis. And I think that the book is open on that, but I think really there's a desire for those, and the fans have engaged really well with them. Certainly the Manning cast was a bit pioneering in this area in terms of being kind of the first one really out there. But I think there's lots of interest from our rights holders and partners in really diving in and seeing what that can do.
As a former hockey director, I think the league has done a great job working with both the regional and the national rights holders in bringing that speed and energy and power of the game to the screen, which was always a challenge. And it's you can feel it much more than you ever could before. So good work on all of that.
I think we're just all so much better set up for innovating than we were even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We've built ourselves an environment that's really lends itself to testing everything, right? There was a day when you wanted to do a POC and you're like, okay, I need 2 months to get this hardware racked and stacked and get everything integrated, and then we got a month to do the POC, and then I got to de-rack it all and send it back if we're not keeping it.
Right.
And now you've got a situation where you're okay. Give me a disk image and a license, and your hardware and software is running in an environment that I can test it tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
And it really takes the chains off, if you will. It really lets you go and use your imagination.